Okay, so we continue with the topic of water. I think this topic is very important, and that's why I made several videos about this. Um, Number one, uh, well, my email is down below. If you want to contact me or send an Amazon gift card, you can do that through there, and you can see it in the description. That this topic is about water. So when you are going to have problems with water coming out of the faucet, then or the sink, then you might want to get these ones. These ones are square and they fit exactly. You can leave a little bit of a space here, but they fit almost exactly in this sink. So you want me to measure your sink and get these things. You get two. Sometimes you can get three. I have another one, but that one is a smaller one. But so I bought these two for the sink. And then when you're having problems, you fill them up, almost to the top, or maybe like a three finger, not filled completely. Because when you put things into the water, it will go up and then it will overflow and then you will have a problem. So, it's better to have it like that. So this is for obviously for when you're cooking, how you're always washing your hand. So one is for washing your hand and the other one is for putting all of the dishes that are dirty. In this case, this one is empty because, I haven't filled it yet. But just letting you know about this. And another thing about water tanks that I forgot yesterday, and it is the fact that how I told you that the water pump might explode if it keeps running and running and running and running. If it doesn't have water, it will overheat. And then if all of a sudden it has water, the temperature difference between, cold water and then that thing being, I don't know how far it is in the temperature, but, that might actually, create a problem or even damage the machine. If it doesn't explode, at least it will be damaged. So there is a safety thing with the level. Whoever's installing the lever for you will, in the bottom, there is like a switch that will tell the water pump to stop, like actually do not turn on anymore. And that way the water pump will stop and that way it will be safe. But here is what I do recommend very highly, because then you are going to be screwed if you don't. So let's say that for whatever reason you are showering and you're doing a lot of things, you do not know if there is water coming from the street. Reason is because you have a water pump and you have a water tank. So you might be spending all of the water tank without knowing that water is not being refilled from the street, which has happened at least, that happens to me at least once or twice a week. So in order for you to avoid that problem, instead of having that switch in the bottom of the tank, you ask the people who installs it to put it in the middle of the tank. Why? Well, because if all of a sudden you have no more water in your house, then you know that there's not more water in the street. But at least you will have half of the tank, and that way you can get it. Because if not the same, if the water pump stops and then you're running to get water from the tank and the water is empty. Or, than you knowing, hey, the water pump stopped and at least I have half of the tank. So that is something that I highly, very highly recommend. If you can, there are people that do not even put it in the half. They put it in the 2/3, of the tank, and that way, they know that they will have at least 2/3, because if it is an underground like mine, the bottom will be filled with sediments and stuff, and then it's not worth a lot of the effort for you to get that water, because you're going to get mud actually. And so there are people who say, hey, that way, I can get, because there is at least 1/4 of the tank that you cannot get, due to the fact that it's too deep, or it's too dirty, or it's just not worth it. So in my case, since mine is half, and then if I have an emergency, like there is no more water coming from the pipe or whatever, my water tank has half, but I can only use half of that. So basically 1/4 of my water tank is the one that I can use if the water pump suddenly stops. And another thing that I wanted to tell you, it's an experience that I had when I was little. If you are thinking that water problems is you not having water, that is one thing, but there is another one. The one that comes from you having too much water outside. And when that happens, the systems will be overflowing, and then the black water will be coming down from inside your house. And quite frankly, if you're going to, if you're a sensitive person, you might want to, skip this part. But at that point, in my mom was called, and she and my mother has 10 siblings, and out of those 10, 7 were at the house, my grandma's house, because there was a flooding, and then the system was overflowing, and the bathroom overflowed, and there were 4 of my aunts plus my mother. They were running towards the toilet, and they were trying to make it stop, just throwing all of the poop and all of the things that were in the plumbing to take it back outside. Quite frankly, here in Venezuela, we have houses that are made out of concrete. We don't make houses out of wood like in the United States. And if that happens, my aunts and my mother spent, God knows how long trying to clean that thing up. They were putting buckets outside of the toilet. They were putting the toilet out. I mean, they were taking so many things. It was insane. And by the way, when this thing happens, there is no way in hell that you're going to count with any guy. If you have a penis, it's very unlikely that you're going to help in this situation. I can tell you that much because my father, my uncles, my uncles who happen to be, the sons of my grandmother, they did not help. They just didn't, because they were like, oh no, And quite frankly, I think that if you make a guy choose between cleaning that up or just buying a new house, the guy will go and try to get a new house. It's just that simple, because quite frankly, sometimes most men do not like dealing with these kind of issues. So, having said that, you need to have several check bulbs. It's called check bulbs, actually, that one. They allowed water to go this way, but they don't allow the water to go that way. So, but those have a lifetime. And some houses have it. In the sewer system, they have it. And but some don't have it. If you live in a flat area, quite frankly, if you do not have that one, you might want to start thinking that when there is a flooding or something like that, you might want to start thinking about the fact that you are going to have to buy another house, or you're going to do what my aunts and my mother did, clean that up like hell. And by that I mean you need plastic boots, you need plastic gloves, you need plastic things all around you, and whatever it is that you're using to clean that up, like brooms and rags or whatever, those things go into the trash. As soon as you start finishing the cleaning or whatever, those things you throw away. You cannot use it for anything else. So basically it will be quite expensive. You will spend a lot of resources, and then, it's a lot of time. And my aunts and my mother, they were just trying to breathe, and you probably also need mask, because of the smell, and it's just insane. And if you have kids, I was a kid at the time, and if you have kids, the kids will be there wanting to play, and they will be there wanting to know, wanting to help. They will be like, they will be in your way, and if they are there, they will be sick. Because quite frankly, all of us, like my cousins, my brothers, and me, we were sick. I remember we were sick for about 2 weeks, after that. So no matter what you do, because, you don't want kids around there, no matter what the hell, don't allow kids around the house in that process. So if you don't have if you're not planning on getting a new house due to a flood or whatever, then get those bulbs. And I won't get one. Most houses, the houses that do have it, have one. Oh, no. Get two. You can put them instead of the pipe, you can put the bulbs. So I will put two. Reason being, because if that thing fails, because it has 8 years old or 6 years old or whatever, if that thing fails, you need to have another one, Because quite frankly, like I told you, my grandmother, she just went outside, she was talking with my father, my uncles, and all the stuff. And it's just insane the amount of work that it takes to clean one bathroom. My grandmother had only one bathroom in the house. If she would have had 2 or 3 bathrooms, which is the normal for most people will have at least 2 toilets in their house. It's just, I cannot tell you, how that is just, I don't need, if a bomb came into your house, I think your house will look and smell and be prettier than you having that problem. Because, it's just the worst of the worst problems that you can possibly have, because you are having, black water coming out of the pipes and out of the toilet. And the worst part is that it won't stop. No matter what the hell you throw at that thing, it won't stop. And it will keep flowing and flowing, and no matter how fast you clean, it's just insane. I remember that once my grandmother knew that my aunts and my mother cleaned a lot of the place, and it was kind of you can walk through that. It wasn't, you can walk, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like apocalyptic kind of level, and then hard level, and then middle level. Well, kind of like that. Middle level, as in there was hard water and there was black water all over the place, but it wasn't filled with poop and things that you can actually, see and differentiate from the water or whatever. So after that was clean and there was still things coming out of the pipe, that is when the men came in. And it's just, they were trying to figure out how to help to fix that thing without damaging the toilet, because that's the whole thing. If you try to throw something into the toilet and then you damage the toilet, the damage will be worse, and then you don't know how you're going to put it back in, and then you have to fill up the whole thing, and then it's just horrible, insane. And that at that point the guys are trying to fix it. Quite frankly, I don't remember how they fixed it, but I can tell you right now, this is concrete. And when you're cleaning concrete, it's kind of better than if you are cleaning wood that has been contaminated with black water. Because the wood will absorb it and the smell will be worse. And you might actually have rotten things inside the wood and it's worse. So whatever you do with water, and I do mean the black water, please try to get two bulbs, or try to get the thing that some people have, that is like you take it and then it fills up, and then it doesn't allow water to come in or outside, and you can fill it up like a balloon or something like that. I have no idea which one is that one. But if you live in a flat area, or you're on the ground level in a building or whatever, get that. Quite frankly, is the best advice and the best money you can possibly spend about water, because not having water is better than having the wrong type of water coming, down the pipe. So just letting you know.